Okay, let's start the test now. So I will be covering test of kinematics and units and dimensions. So let's move on to the first question. So I will be basically covering 10 previous year MCQ questions related to kinematics and units and dimensions. So the first one is here. So it says, the first question says that the motion of a particle along a straight line is described by equation x equal to a plus 12t minus t cube, where x is in meter and t in second. The retardation of the particle when its velocity becomes zero is. So can you please write down the answer on the live chat? anybody here who can answer it? So I can give a hint to you. So as you can see, the equation is given, that is x equal to 8 plus 12t minus t cube. Now t is actually the time and x is actually the distance. So you need to find the retardation. Retardation basically means the acceleration. So if you know the velocity formula, velocity is actually the derivative of dx. So you basically need to take the derivative of x here with respect to t for velocity. So then you need to put the value of t at t in dx over dt. Then you will get your t. When you get your t, and now you need to find acceleration. So that is dv over dt. That is minus 6t. Then you need to put the value of t, that is 2 seconds. Then you will get your retardation. Actually, the answer to this is 12 meter per second square. So let me tell you how you need to find this. Is you just need to find del x over del t first of all. That would be your velocity. That is 12 minus 2t square in this case, 3t square. Now you need to put the v as 0, because in the question it says the retardation of the particle when its velocity becomes 0. So v should be 0. Then you get the value of time. Then after that, as time is now with us, so now we can find the acceleration. So acceleration is basically del v over del t. Now you need to take the derivative of velocity. So when you take the derivative of velocity with respect to time, then you need to put the value of time in the value of del v over del t. That would be your retardation. Now let's move on to the second question. I hope you get this. Now the second question says the velocity of a projectile at the initial point A is 2I cap plus 3J cap meter per second. Its velocity in meter per second at point B is. So you need to find the velocity at point B here. Please tell me the answer for this. Anyone who can try this? The velocity of a projectile at the initial point A is 2 I cap plus 3 j cap meter per second. Its velocity in meter per second at point B is, you need to find the velocity at point B, and it should be in the vector quantity. So now in this case, if you don't get this, so you can see we need to find velocity at point B. Now, as you can see here, the x component of velocity remains unchanged here. And if we talk about y component, it gets reversed. It's actually it is in opposite direction. So as the velocity of point A is 2 I cap plus 3 j cap, the quantity of x component of velocity will be remain unchanged. So that is 2 I cap. And if we talk about y component, that is in opposite direction. That means this quantity 3j cap will get reversed and it will be minus 3j cap. So the right answer to this question is 2I cap minus 3j cap. Let's move on to the next one. Now the third question says a stone falls freely under gravity. It covers distances h1, h2 plus h3 in the first 5 seconds, the next 5 seconds and the next 5 seconds respectively. The relationship between h1 and h2 and h3 is. So you need to find the relation between h1, h2 and h3. We are right that it is A in the last question. Please try to do the third one now. B is not the right one. You can try it. I will tell you the hint for this one. This one a bit tricky. So you need to first find the distance covered by the stone in 5 seconds. Then you need to calculate the distance traveled by the stone in 10 seconds. Then you have to go on for the third one. Distance travel covered by the stone in 5 seconds, distance traveled by the stone in 10 seconds, then distance traveled by the stone in 15 seconds. So you have to find h1 plus h2 in the case of 10 seconds. When you are in third one, that is 15 seconds, that is h1 plus h2 plus h3. Then you need to figure out one two equations, 1 to 3 equations, and you will get the relationship between h1, h2, and h3. So I am telling you the answer. So the answer for this is D part. Now the next question, it says a projectile is fired from the surface of the earth with a velocity of 5 meter per second with with a velocity of 5 meter per second and angle theta with horizontal. Another projectile fired from another planet with a velocity of 3 meter per second at, at the same angle follows a trajectory which is identical with the trajectory of the projectile fired from the Earth. The value of the acceleration due to gravity on the planet is in meter per second square. So you need to find the value of the acceleration in this. Please try to find out. In this equation, we actually need to find the equation of trajectory first of all. So the equation of trajectory is actually y equal x tan theta minus gx square over 2u square cos square theta. Now, as in this equation, it says for equal trajectory for same angles of projection. That means my g over u square value is constant. Now, as per equation, it says 9.8 over 5 square, right? Because in this case u is given as 5. So if 5 is there, so you just need to put 9.8 square, 9.8 over 5 square. Then as it is given here that another planet with a velocity of 3 meter per second, that means we will take it equal to g dash. G dash means that the gravity of another planet over 3 square, that is u square. Now you will equate these two equations to get your answer. For this question, it will be 3.5 meter per second square. Now the fifth one says that a particle is moving such that its position coordinates x, y are 2 meter, 3 meter at time t equal to 0 and 6 meter, 7 meter at time t equal to 2 seconds and 13, 14 meter at t equal to 5 seconds. Average velocity vector VAV from t equal to 0 to t equal to 5 seconds. So you need to find average velocity in this case between t equal to 0 and t equal to 5 seconds. So please try to answer this in the live chat. As a hint, I would like to tell you, you can first of all use time t equal to 0 and find the position vector for that, and then you can write at time 5 equal to 5 seconds, the position vector is this. Then you can find the displacement, that is from r1 to r2, and then you will get the average velocity. Anyone who can answer this? So as no answer is there, so you can write at time t equal to 0, the position vector is 2I cap plus 3j cap. At t equal to 5 seconds, the position vector in this case is 3I cap plus 14j cap. Now you need to find, for average velocity, you need to find displacement from first place to second place. So this will be, you have to take away 13I cap minus 2I cap. That will be 11I cap. Then the second quantity is 14j cap and 3j cap. That will be 11j cap. So my del R in this case is 11I cap plus 11j cap. And you can see the difference between them is 5 minus 0. That means del T is 5. So the answer is very simple for this one. That is the last quantity, the D part. Now moving on to the next question. It says in an experiment, four quantities A, B, C and D are measured with percentage error 1%, 2%, 3% and 4% respectively. Quantity P is calculated as follows, that is P equal to AQ P square over CD, percentage error in P. We have to find the error percent in P. So please try to answer in the live chat. Anyone who can answer this? Please say yes if you can answer this. Otherwise, I will tell you the answer. The hint in this question is that we need to find the percentage error in P. So you need to differentiate the quantities. So in this case, on the left hand side, it will be del P over P in 200 because we need to find the percentage error. So in this case, now on the right hand side, this will be 3 times 3 times del A over A plus 2 times del B over B plus del C over C plus del D over D. Why plus? Because whenever we need to find the error, it is actually maximized always. So always we need to remember that they should be in the positive sign. And similarly, you need to put a multiply with 100 on the right hand side. Now, when you put the following percentage error that is given here in the question, it says A is equal to 1%, B is equal to 2%, C is equal to 3%, and D is equal to 4%. You need to put that values in the equation you get as a right hand side. So the answer for this question is 14%. Right, right. Anita is right here. So let's move on to the next part. So the next question says if force is F, velocity is V, and time is T are taken as fundamental units, then the dimensions of mass are. So you need to find the dimensions of mass here in this question. Please try to answer this. So the hint in this question is that you have to take the mass dimensions as FA, VB, plus VB, TC. So then on the left hand side you need to take mass 1, L0, T0 because in this case you need to find the dimensions of mass. So this will be, then you need to put the value, put the dimensions of force, then you need to put the dimensions of velocity, then you need to put the dimensions of time. So when you do this, you will get one equation as on the exponents part. And then you just need to equate the values, you will get your answer. Yeah, the answer is D, that's right. Let's move on to the next question. If energy E, velocity V, and time t are chosen as the fundamental quantities, the dimensional formula of surface tension will be. So you need to tell me the dimensional formula of surface tension here. Again the same way, in this case the surface tension, you have to consider the surface tension as EA, VB, TC. Then you need to put the following dimensions of energy, velocity and time. Then you just need to equate the left hand side and the right hand side. And on the left hand side you should take the dimension, you should take the units of surface tension and then equate the values. You will get your A, B and C. As there is no answer yet, so the answer for this one is E1 V raised to power minus 2 and T raised to power minus 2. So the first answer, the A part, is the right one. Let's move on to the next one. If dimensions of critical velocity Vc of a liquid flowing through a tube are expressed as meta x rho y rz, where meta, rho and r are the coefficient of viscosity of liquid, density of liquid, radius of the tube respectively, then the values of x, y, z are given by. Please try to answer this. Keep Vc on the left hand side and rest on the right hand side, and then equate the values. You will get the values for x, y, and z. In this case, we need to write first of all VC quantity, that is, the critical velocity is given by m0 L1 t minus 1. And on the other hand, you have neta, that is the coefficient of viscosity of liquid, that is given as m1 L minus 1 t minus 1. And then you need to put the x there on the coefficient of viscosity of liquid. Then after that we are given with density of liquid. So there you need to write m1 L minus 3 t0 because that is actually the dimensions of density of liquid. Then we come over to radius of the tube, that is given as m0 L1 t0 and raised to the power z. Then we just need to equate the values. You will get three equations from there, that is x plus y equals 0, x minus 3y plus z equal 1, minus x equal 1. Then you need to solve those equations and you will get your answer as 1, minus 1 and minus 1. So the C part is the right answer. Let's move on to the last one. So here it says that Planck's constant h, speed of light of vacuum in vacuum is c, and Newton's gravitational constant g are three fundamental constants. Which of the following combination of these has the dimension of length? So you basically need to tell the following combination of these that has the dimension equal to dimension of length. So you need to work out all these, and then you need to tell which is equal to the dimension of length here. So as you know, the length is m0 L0 L1 T0. Then you need to write the respective formulas for Planck's constant, speed of light in vacuum, and Newton's gravitational constant. Then again you have to equate the values, and you will get the dimensions or the equations in terms of anything you are taking constant as, then you will get the value. So please try to answer this one if you can. Right answer to this one is the first one, that is Hg over C 3, 3 over 2 under root, whole value under root. So that is the right answer, and I'm taking off from this by all.